Hello and welcome to another edition of Capital Area Chats. I'm your host, Paul Brogan, and we're about all things in the greater Concord region. The people, places, and things that make this an amazing place to live, to work, and to play. Today's show is special for a number of reasons. This is the last time any Concord TV show will be coming from this spot at Concord High School for the next few months. Due to renovations that are scheduled, all programming will be moving to the Abbott Downing School in the south end of Concord. But everyone will be back here in the fall, and I hope that all of you will continue throughout the summer to watch the great programming available on Concord TV. It's also a very special show because I have a very special guest. Tori Berube is amazing. Last time we were on here together, about 6 months ago, we broke viewing records. I would send emails to her and say, Tori, we're up to 1,000-something views of our show together.
How many friends did you have to call to do that?
No, I gave them use of my credit card.
Okay.
And I said, you use the credit card, and you and your family members all tune in and watch the show.
Great.
So. But no, I think it's a topic. Plus, it was shared. Jackie, I think, put a link to it on OLLI, which is Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which Tori is associated with, and why she's here today. But I think there's really a curiosity about the programming, and I think that our talking about it in some ways makes it more alive and real than just going on the website and reading a lot of very interesting information. Yeah. But we're both, so high on it that I think that enthusiasm piques their interest.
Sure.
more than just reading about it. So you are the program director, correct?
I'm the program manager.
Oh, manager. Okay.
Yeah.
And to you, all of the proposals for class ideas and things go. And I remember you saying a few months ago, I think that there were more submissions for the upcoming fall term than there had ever been before.
There sure were. So we are an institute that's focused on lifelong learning for adults typically over the age of 50, mm-hmm. though we don't card anybody when they come in. We let anyone come. So many of our members are retired or semi-retired, and they just like to learn, mm-hmm. to socialize, mm-hmm. and we do that through a variety of ways as part of this membership-driven organization. But the big way is we do it through educational courses, mm-hmm. like what you present for us. Mm-hmm. And so we are, tomorrow, Friday, is the last day of our summer or our spring term. We take the summer off, and then we are ready to start talking, if you can believe it. We are already well underway for our fall 2025 term, which will start at the end of August. Mm-hmm. So we had 100, we'll have about 160, 65 courses offered between the week before Labor Day mm-hmm. and the week before Christmas over a 16, 17-week period.
And there is indeed something for every taste.
There is something for everybody. Mm-hmm. We typically see most of our members signing up for courses that are history related mm-hmm. or sociology related, literature related, out and about in the community. So we actually had a tour a week or so ago up walking through Blossom Hill Cemetery mm-hmm. and learning the story of Blossom Hill Cemetery. We were at Granite State Candy Shop in their production facility. We have been out walking on trails around Concord. We have creative arts classes. Mm-hmm. So we have classes where folks make crafts, or folks come and enjoy film classes mm-hmm. like yours, mm-hmm. or reading literature. watching movies again. So just a wide variety of courses for all of our members.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it continues to grow and thrive too. I mean,
it does. We have about 1,000 members statewide. So here in the Capital Region, it's one of our larger regions, as is Manchester. But we also have a site out in the Seacoast in Portsmouth and a site up in North Conway. And the great thing about being an OLLI member is once you're an OLLI member, you can take courses at any of our sites, regardless of where you live or regardless of where the course is offered. And again, we have some members who will come and see us in a course or come with us out in the community for a course. And we have members who would much prefer to watch and participate via a Zoom class from home in their fuzzy slippers. And that's okay too, because we offer about 30 to 35 courses each term on Zoom. So many of our members, it was great. We've taught them how to use Zoom, and that they find that that is just a really nice way for them to stay connected to OLLI and to keep that lifelong learning initiative going for themselves.
And I encourage people to test out some of the other campuses, absolutely, because each campus is so uniquely different, and yet the thing that is steady and guaranteed at each one is that you'll be welcomed, and you'll be immediately feel as though you've been there forever. There's such a nice feeling.
So as you know, some of our classes have 10 people in them. Some might have 25. And we have a few each term that might have 50 or 60 or 70 people in them based on the topic. And we have one here in Concord that we host at Citywide Community Center in the Dame Auditorium. It used to be the Dame
School.
Dame School.
Yes.
It's where I ate lunch from kindergarten through 5th grade.
You did?
Yes. My brothers too. But we have one class that we host there that is all about the presenter who does that class does history. And he's got a deep and rich following, much like you, right? So people come to see whatever Paul Brogan is offering wherever he is. Or we have a couple of presenters like that will travel the state, present in different regions, and our members follow them around the state. But there is something, I challenge people to open our catalog when they get it and to find something or not to find something that is of interest to them.
It's very much like as a child opening the Montgomery Ward or Spiegel catalog or one of those that came, yes, in November, the first week of November.
Sears.
Yes, any of those.
Sears Roebuck in my house.
And that's what the OLLI catalog is like, because you just want to test, check every single item. Even something you might not be interested in, you stop and read the description, and sometimes you come away saying, oh, that might be interesting to go.
Well, so some of the funny thing is some people are just like that. They'll read every page of the course descriptions and read them in depth. Some people will open the catalog up and they go immediately to sociology classes because that's all they're interested in. And they'll sign up for every sociology course we offer. And some people are like, I don't really care what's in the front of the catalog. I want to look in the back and see what courses are being offered in Concord, specifically Concord. And they read through and they say, that sounds interesting. Let me go read that description. So our members have different ways of looking at that catalog to suit their needs, and that is absolutely okay.
Exactly.
But it's just funny how people pick their classes. But the best way that people often pick their classes is when the catalog hits their mailbox, which will be for our fall term probably the week after the 4th of July.
After the 4th of July.
Yeah, the week after, so the 11th, I think, of July, is they pick up the phone and they call their friends. And they say, here are the 5 courses I've picked. What did you pick? And so we know that telling a friend which courses you're taking often prompts them to take the same classes, or they say, what? Did you miss this one? And then you see friends who come together, and you see people who, they're married couples and they might come together, or they might not.
Yeah.
Based on what's of interest to them.
Right, exactly. And of course, in July, the 3rd week of July, the previews that are free.
Yes.
And anyone is invited to attend, to test the waters, just to, I think, walking in that room and feeling the energy of all of the attendees and listening to the presenters that are there doing little
snippets.
1 or 2 minute snippets of what they're going to be doing is the best way to just want to be a part of this.
So the course preview is Tuesday, July 22nd, 10:30 at Tad's Place at Havenwood Heritage Heights, up on East Side Drive, open to the public. And it is exactly that. It's just like, come here from all of our presenters, or many of our presenters here in the Capital Region, where they say, hi, I'm Paul Brogan, and I'll be doing a course called, and here's what we're going to talk about, and I hope to see you. And you see people sitting with their catalog saying, yeah, I should see that one. I should see that one. So it's open to the public. It's free to attend. If you're not an OLLI member, we will have our course catalogs with us that day. If you're an OLLI member, bring your catalog and a highlighter, and you can just mark your catalog up with, I've got to see this one. And then registration for the term opens 2 weeks after that on Monday, August 4th. And the term itself starts 3 weeks after that on Monday, August 25th.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to become a member, they can become a member at the preview.
They can.
That day. However, it's not required that you be a member to take the courses. But if you are a member, they're less costly, correct?
Nope. So we are a membership organization.
Okay.
So there is an annual membership.
Yes.
Which would be $50 for the entire year. And then there's a course fee. So folks who might attend your upcoming course at the Bank of New Hampshire Stave in the fall will have a course fee, and there's also a small fee added on for the site.
Yes.
For the facility. But so it's a membership fee that you pay once for a year, annual membership fee. And then each course has a very reasonable cost fee. And we do allow guests to come if you have a friend who's an OLLI member and you're not, and you'd like to test out what is OLLI. Your friend can bring you as their guest as long as there's room in the class. And we always manage to find a
spot.
Yeah, because we do want folks to come and see what OLLI is all about. But preview on the 22nd at Tad's Place is open to anybody. To come and learn a little bit more about OLLI and to hear about some of the great courses that are coming this fall here in the Capital Region.
Well, I know I would like to hear about some of the courses. If you'd like to share with us.
So our course catalog is currently being put together and at the print house. So I don't have one to show you the beautiful cover. So I brought you a couple of course descriptions and titles of upcoming courses here for the fall. So the first one is a course called Flickering Images on the Silver Screen, the Legendary Concord Theater. The presenter is Margaret Porter.
Oh, she's
Margaret.
Amazing author, local author, best-selling,
Yeah, and then this guy named Paul Brogan. So
trying to ride in on her coattails. Obviously.
Clearly.
So, yeah.
But maybe you want to talk a little bit about what you're covering in your course.
Well, having worked at the theater for 27 years from the time I was 14, I learned a lot, not just about the way movies are booked and the way movies, get played, etc., but also about the people that own theaters and why they own them and why it matters to them, and how personal they take the quality of the films they try to play, for their public and for the customers. So it's about that. It's about things people probably didn't realize. The studios sometimes take 90% of every penny you bring in, which is why concession becomes important.
Yeah.
And just stories behind, the Joseph Kennedy coming in and telling the owner of the Concord Theater, you women need to remember your place and you have no business running a theater, as he poked her in the chest.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's going to be a great class,
So it's
especially
just-
for those of us who grew up in Concord and saw movies at the theater for so many years. So that's one.
Yeah.
We are offering a course out at Canterbury Shaker Village with Kyle Sandler, and that course is in September. While it will be beautiful in the beginning of foliage out at
Yes.
Canterbury Shaker Village, and that is a guided tour around there, so that's kind of nice. Kathleen Bailey, you know Kathleen.
Oh, yes.
So she is coming to do a bit about her upcoming book, a course on her upcoming book that's called A History Lover's Guide to New Hampshire. So again, local, but
Yes.
that whole history feel that many of our members are looking for. This one's a new one, and I'm kind of excited to see how this comes out. Stephanie Couturier from the American Red Cross. She is actually their CEO for Northern New England, is coming to do From the Battlefield to Your Community, a history of the American Red Cross.
How interesting.
Kind of interesting, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Truth Matters, supporting an informed citizenry. How timely.
Very timely.
With Tim Horgan from the World Affairs Council
Yes.
and Jim Schachter from NHPR.
Okay.
So that is
Should
a course
be
that we're
very
offering
interesting.
at our site at NHTI in a very large theater. So we'll have lots of room for people to attend.
Okay.
If you're feeling a little artsy
Yeah.
and feeling a little Bob Ross, right?
Yes.
Remember on
Yes.
PBS?
Yep.
Paint here.
Yes.
Yep. Step-by-step decorative painting. For 3 consecutive Saturdays up at Citywide Community Center.
Okay.
With 3 women who are decorative painters and part of their guild. So you will be painting just like Bob Ross.
How
Follow
fun.
along. And then on the literature side, one of the ones that we're offering via Zoom is Pride and Prejudice meets Mansfield Park, Jane Austen, which I think sounds kind of fun.
Very.
Something that a class I hope to attend is Demystifying, Decluttering, and Downsizing. Also offered on Zoom. And then Nancy West from
yes.
In-Depth New Hampshire.
Yes.
And a reporter here in the state for many years. Is doing a course at NHTI called Real Local News, Is It Too Late for New Hampshire? We are doing our obligatory tour at the production facility for Granite State Candy Shop.
Do they give samples?
I'm not saying.
You're not saying. People will have to sign up and find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also are offering, again, this group was just there a couple of weeks ago for this one, but a tour up in Franklin at the Franklin Falls Dam.
Oh, yes.
And there's a real great story behind it.
Oh.
And it's a really lovely class and a nice chance to be outside. And then one that I think is kind of interesting, especially for our general population, is Navigating the Nuances, a Practical Guide to Genetic Genealogy.
Ooh.
So genealogy is becoming, we have a woman who does how to start tracking your genealogy. In fact, she's offering a course out on the seacoast about sleuthing in cemeteries to find your answers. But this one on genetic genealogy is at NHTI with Cleon Reel, and that's in November. And then one of our most popular presenters, along with some guy named Paul Brogan, is a woman by the name of Eleanor Strang.
Oh, yes.
And she is a retired
yes.
college librarian. She loves to research, which makes sense.
Perfect.
And each term she offers a history course that is usually the first course that sells out on registration day. And this term she is doing Frederick Douglass, National Hero of the War Against Slavery. And she'll be offering that here in Concord and in Manchester.
Nice.
So if you can't get into Concord, you might be able to get into Manchester.
Absolutely.
And then the last one is we're offering a course here in Concord, up walking the Wynett Swope Trail.
Yes.
Up by the old Millville School. And it's a lovely trail with great views. And so that is a guided tour and walk out, enjoying the fall foliage and a nice walk on a good day. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Oh, there sure is. Absolutely.
Right? So a little outside, a little visiting Granite State Candy Shop, some history courses, some art courses, just something for everyone.
There really is. So, wow. It sounds, and that's only the Concord area.
Correct.
And anyone who does become a member and can check out some of the others, because it's not much of a drive to Manchester. And down there, it's in the beautiful former Pandora Mill building, and the classrooms are beautiful, and just the environment, because you're part of history. Once you walk into that building, you feel all of that history. And because I'm doing a class down there, because I love it's so close, and it's just it's such a great group of people in that area too, who don't always come up this way. And so
right.
It's nice.
And in Manchester, it is the Pandora building, also known as UNH Manchester's home.
Yeah, exactly.
So on the corner of Commercial and Bridge, and Commercial and Granite, excuse me, I always get that backwards. But the nice thing is for you and some of our other movie courses that we offer, you get to use a really beautiful room at the campus, which is the film screening room. And it really is like
it has fixed seating.
It has
and
great
they're
seating.
So cushioned and comfortable.
The only thing it's really missing is the concession stand.
Exactly. Yes.
It's got great sound and great seating.
It does.
And,
it does.
And it's that for us, that campus is kind of a nice mix because it shows learning, which is really what our founder, Bernard Osher, was all about. Lifelong learning. So it's our members who might range in age from 70 to, we have one member I know who is 87, who comes to anything he can. Standing in the hallway with undergraduate and graduate students. So it really plays being in that campus building to the whole concept of why Mr. Osher founded this. He is a firm believer in lifelong learning, always has been. In fact, our program director and one of our volunteers was at a conference about 6 weeks ago. And he is 98.
Wow.
And he came to the conference and he said, I really don't want to, speak, but my goal being here is I want to meet each and every of you 250 people and hear your story about why you're involved with OLLI. And isn't that a powerful statement at age 98?
That really
that you can come and you've got that kind of a presence cognitively, physically, spiritually, to be that invested in something that you are that passionate about.
Now, how long has OLLI been here in the Granite State?
So we were founded, we received our first endowment from Mr. Osher's foundation in 2004. So we are a whopping 21 years old. And when we started, we were very small. And we have grown. We were affiliated with Granite State College for many years, for most of those years. And 2 years ago, we merged and became part of the University of New Hampshire, when Granite State College sort of was absorbed into UNH. So we are OLLI at UNH, but in truth, we've been that for the last couple of years, but we have been OLLI in New Hampshire for 21 years. So
that's wonderful.
Pretty remarkable.
And
we have some members who have been with us for just about 21 years, which is kind of inspirational in itself. And we have members who join us, every day.
This will be starting my 14th year as a presenter, and I know that it changed my life when I walked in there. Joan Davis was the one that introduced me to it. And it just, I went in with nervous trepidation, is this going to work? And it did, and it was just, I remember people saying afterwards, you're going to come back and do something else, aren't you? And I have, and it's just feels so right, and the enthusiasm and the appreciation from people is so amazing.
Well, and it gives you a great excuse to drive from Concord to Manchester wearing a Peter Pan costume.
I'm glad that will live in infamy forever and ever. So I thought you were going to...
No, now you have to tell them why you wore a Peter Pan costume.
Our class was on 3 major Broadway female stars, Mary Martin, Ethel Merman, and Carol Channing. And the week we were talking about Mary Martin, I thought, well, she was Peter Pan to generations with television and all of that. So to hold the attention today, maybe I should dress up as Peter Pan, because I played Peter Pan in 1986 in West Springfield, Mass. In a production. And so the only thing I didn't do was fly into the classroom. There wasn't a way to rig wiring to do that.
No, I don't have that capability.
And it might have been dangerous. I could have crashed into somebody.
But you did drive through the toll booth in the...
I did. And they looked at me very strangely. And I explained that it was... They asked me, it's a little early for Halloween, isn't it? And I explained very quickly that, no, this is for a class I'm giving. He said, boy, I'd have to see that class.
And what's the class that you're doing in Manchester?
It's Irving Berlin's music. Irving Berlin, who wrote White Christmas, Happy Holidays, God Bless America, There's No Business Like Show Business, on Easter Parade, on and on the songs. And I thought it would be fun to sort of celebrate his career, because he wrote the words and the music, not just one.
There is one class here in Concord this term that I didn't mention, and it's a brand new presenter with us. He taught this previous presenter, and he's like, I don't know if people are going to like this class. And it was called From Motown to Key West to... I'm not going to come up with the last place, but it was songs of the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
And the room was packed. It was a 3-week class. And people came out dancing down the hallway as they were leaving after each class, and said it was just like a trip down memory lane. And I think that's why a lot of folks like your classes, right? There's a connection for them. And so it was so popular in Manchester, he said, I'd like to do it in Concord. So his name is Dennis DeSimone, and he will be offering that at NHTI for 3 weeks. And then in Manchester, he's bringing part 2 and it's the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the overseas edition. So it'll be a little Beatles,
Yes.
British invasion kind of stuff.
Yeah. Dave Clark
I have
Five.
right.
And
I have
those
no
kinds of-
idea who else, but again, like you, he's starting to develop
A following.
and that's what makes OLLI fun is that not only do our presenters volunteer their time, none of our presenters are free, paid, but it's a passion to them, and they like to talk about it.
Yes.
And then they build this following that will follow them around because they all like the same things.
Word of mouth is such
And then they start talking about, what he didn't cover or what he did put in that I had forgotten about. And it's a lot of fun. There's always a lot of laughter around our classes, a lot of engagement. It might not be laughter, but it might be topical.
Yes, thought-provoking.
Right. We have an instructor who comes and talks a lot about the French-Canadian heritage in Manchester, for instance.
The West Side.
The West Side. And he talks a lot about parochial schools.
Oh, yes.
And I know you went to parochial school, but it gives our members a forum and a platform to talk about their shared experiences or what wasn't a shared experience. And it's just really kind of nice. It's comforting. It's familiar.
Oh, it is. Yes. Yes.
It's
and it's
back
often,
memories.
as you mentioned, people maybe hadn't given it a thought in years and years, but suddenly something is mentioned and that stirs a memory or something they then want to share with the class that they had forgotten about.
Right.
And
Right.
it is. Oh, it's remarkable how those things are in the recesses just waiting to come forward.
Yeah.
And
to have somebody say something that triggers you to think.
It is.
And there's we do some critical thinking classes, to be honest.
Yes.
Those are hard ones for me. But, the fun ones where you're remembering things or you're thinking about, enjoying a good movie. Those are the ones that I really like.
Really nice. They just leave you feeling
but
really good.
For instance, we have a retired geologist in our midst, and he did a class this week on granite here in the state, and people brought in samples and were like, "Tell me what this is." I've had it for years. I don't know what it is. And he immediately knew. So just kind of fun, different offbeat stuff. And that's just the tip of it. That's the classes we offer. So we do shared interest groups. We do lunch trips. We have a group that we do special events. So we'll be out at the Pumpkin Blossom Hill Farm in Warner for lavender picking in July. We have a group that's going out to Wood Island on the seacoast. All of these kinds of things are open to members across the state to participate in. And it's just another way of connecting.
It is. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I know
How
we
can
want.
that be?
I can't imagine. It's like we want to hold on to every moment here because we know that the studio is not going to be quite the same when people return to it in a few months. But you are the perfect guest for the last show here for now. And of course, you know how I feel about OLLI, so it's easy to talk about it, and we could just go on and on. But
can I throw out the website address?
Sure, yes.
So for folks who would like more information, it's unh.edu /OLLI for Osher Lifelong Institute.
Okay.
And our phone number is changing as of July 1st, and it will be 603-862-6554, which spells, the 6554 spells OLLI. So
Wow.
603-862 OLLI.
All right. Tori Berube, it is a treat to spend time with you
Always
in front of the
great to be with
camera
you.
or behind the camera.
It's been great.
And I look forward to seeing you in the weeks ahead, including at the preview up at Tad's Place on the 22nd of July.
That'd
And
be
we
great.
will have information on the screen about that and
Terrific.
about the previews and everything else. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to have you back again.
Soon.
And yes.
Happy summer.
Thank you, and to you and to all of our viewers. Thank you so much. Thank you to Concord TV for 7 years of believing in the show and being so supportive. Behind the scenes to Matt, marvelous Matt, who just can do it all. And I thank all of you, and thanks for getting in touch and letting me know what you think of the show, or sending along your ideas for guests we might have in the future. So on behalf of Concord TV, this is Paul Brogan, your host, saying we'll see you soon. Thank you.